for third.
And the home coach for the UCSD Tritons is Heidi Vanderveer.
Just a stone's throw away from the Pacific Ocean sits the beautiful campus of the University of San Diego, which is the host site for our tournament this week. Alongside David Gentile, I'm Braden Sopretta. Thanks again for tuning in to ESPN Plus as we're in Game 2 of the San Diego Classic of a 4-game showcase. It will be the Boise State Broncos and the UC San Diego Tritons. David, should be a fun matchup tonight as the Broncos come in with a pretty impressive 8-3 record.
8-3. They're playing the best of any of the 4 teams here at the USD Winter Classic. They defend well, second in the country in shot blocking, and they shoot the 3-ball well also. So that'll be a big test for this UC San Diego team, who's got some excellent guard play. Top 3 scorers for the Tritons are guards, so they will put that solid Boise State defense to the test.
And UCSD, of course, transitioning into becoming a D1 program. Their final year of being ineligible, but fighting the climb of being a D1 school. Get ready for basketball action here in Game 2 of a 4-game set. Montana just defeated San Diego 72-52 for Game 1. And tomorrow's slate, we'll do a little bit of a reshuffle as UC San Diego will play Montana and San Diego will play Boise State. As we get ready for Game 2 to start, our officials tonight, Kimberly Hobbs, Corey Long, and Jen Calhoun. As Boise State representing the blue on blue with the orange trim. And UCSD wearing the home whites here at the Jenny Craig Pavilion with the UC San Diego across the chest. And the blue and gold numbers on the front and back. I'm waiting for some timing on this on our start time. But as we mentioned, 8-3 Boise State, 3-6 UC San Diego. Boise State came in coming off a win against Rocky Mountain College. They won 67-46 their last time out. UC San Diego lost to Fresno State 71-52. And we are officially underway. Starting lineup tonight for the Boise State Broncos: Maya Hansen, Mary Kay Naro, Cindy McQuieter, Elodie Lalodet, Natalie Pasco, and Abby Muse. The 3-ball there for Boise State, just off the mark, and a rebound for Izzy Forsyth. Starting 5 for UC San Diego: Sumaya Sigapong, Izzy Forsyth, Ari Blithcoat, Denali Pinto, and Parker Montgomery are the 5 on the floor for the Tritons. 18-footer now back out for a 3-ball to Pinto, and that's off the mark, and a rebound by Lalott of Boise State. Lalott just outside the perimeter as UC San Diego are in their man defense. Back to Hansen on the top of the key, and a spin move inside by Muse, and that's the first points of the night. A 2-0 lead for Boise State.
Bronco team that brings back all 5 starters from a season ago, just under 90% of its scoring. It's a veteran group, and it's really showing early, getting off to this 8-3 start.
A veteran group that knows how to score. Very impressive start to the season are the Boise State Broncos. Another missed opportunity for UC San Diego. In transition, step back 3 from Pasco off the back end of the rim. And a rebound for the Tritons. Izzy Forsyth pulled down the board again for UC San Diego. Natalie Pasco, as I mentioned, who just had that last shot attempt. A big one there for Sigapong. And she's on the board for the first time. Ties the game, and with the foul, will go to the line.
Exciting young guard, the freshman out of right here in San Diego, and one of the best high school programs in the country in La Jolla Country Day. Great to see Heidi Vanderveer get a big-time local recruit as UC San Diego still in Division I, still making that transition. They'll be a full member next year. But again, some new guards in the mix this season. Their 3 leading scorers are guards. I think they have an exciting backcourt and a lot to build on.
A jump shot there for Maya Hansen. She gets hacked and will go to the free throw line. 3-2 lead for UC San Diego. It's always important to try to keep as many local talents as possible. The 3 Division I schools in town now with UC San Diego. It'd be even more difficult, but a big signing for UCSD as Hansen makes the first of the free throws. 75% free throw shooter on the year, 84% in her career, and she makes them both as Boise State takes a 4-3 lead here with 8:14 to go in the first quarter. But to get a player like Sigapong, who has already shown the player that she could be with this season, at 19 points career high against Northern Arizona back on November 19th, and is averaging 14.1 points per game. It's always difficult to kind of recruit when you're ineligible for the postseason, but the current freshmen on this UC San Diego team and a lot of the sophomores, most of this team is going to be able to have the opportunity to compete for postseason play next season. Down to 6 seconds on the shot clock. Down to 3. And putting up the J is Pinto. Denali Pinto hits the 2-point bucket. It's now 5-4 Tritons.
Pinto on a tear over the last 4 games, 15.5 points, averaging that on 53% shooting. And she's been deadly at the free throw line, too. 16 of 17. Comes in third in UC San Diego in scoring for the former Colorado School of Mines Ordigger, the all-time leading scorer for that program in D2 out of the RMAC.
Pasco finds Muse. Muse goes up. It gets rejected, but the putback is there by Lalat. Elodie Lalat, the senior out of Paris, France, who went to high school here in Southern California. And a Mountain West Conference honorable mention from a year ago. It's a big, impressive play to make it 6-5. UCSD off the mark. Another transition play for Boise State, and the Tritons take over on a steal by Sigapong. Sigapong coast to coast with the float off the roll of the bounce of the front end of the rim and in. And it's now 7-6 as both teams go back and forth.
Good start for Sigapong. This is a UC San Diego team, 3-6 on the season. They only have 1 win against Division I competition, one of the tougher schedule tests from them in non-conference this year.
Lalat, being physical in the paint, puts it home. 8-7 lead for the Broncos. Top of the key now to Forsyth, who finds Denali. Pinto, and a shot attempt there by Forsyth off the front of the rim, but Sigapong gets the board back at a good hustle play after she gets rejected. Finds an open lane and then kicks it back outside. 3-point attempt for Blithcote, no good. And UC San Diego comes up empty as Boise State brings it across.
Shot block there by Abby Muse. She's second in the country, 3.6 per game. Hard to get inside against Muse, who's a 6'3" forward for the Broncos.
Sigapong got tripped up and fell to the ground. It created an opportunity for Natalie Pasco. And the Mountain West all-freshman team honoree from a couple of years ago, from last year actually, puts it in. And it's now a 10-7 lead for Boise State. And Pinto back to Sigapong. Sigapong in the lane, back outside to Montgomery in the corner. Montgomery working it back to the near side. And then to a cutting Forsyth, who gets rejected by the bottom of the backboard, and Boise State has it in transition. Naro slows it down around the horn from Muse to Pasco. Pasco cuts back right, finds Muse cutting to the basket, just short, finds her own rebound, and then Pinto pulls it down after a tough shot there by Muse. Blithcote coordinating Montgomery back to Sigapong. And here's Forsyth now at the wing. Forsyth cuts back to the left, the left-handed dribble. Sigapong for 3 off the back end of the iron and over the top of the backboard. So we'll go out of play. And we will take a timeout. A 10-7 lead for Boise State early in the first quarter right here on ESPN+. 10-8 lead for Boise State as they take on the UC San Diego Tritons. Alongside David Gentile, I'm Braden Soprano. Thanks again for tuning in to ESPN+. Game 2 of a 4-game slate here in the San Diego Classic. San Diego and Montana already played game 1. Montana won 72-52. And a turnover for Boise State. Good defensive stop for the Tritons.
Yeah, good perimeter pressure there from UC San Diego. This is a Triton team that's giving up a lot of length against Boise State. Started 3 of 6 from the floor, 0 for their last 5, trying to space it out. They've already taken 6 3-pointers. I think with that much of a size discrepancy, the perimeter is going to be a key for UC San Diego today.
You'd already start to see it in the rebounding game as another 3-point attempt from Pinto does not go. And Boise State now in transition, moving it along. Here's Muse. Back to the near side to Pasco. Pasco kicks it back down to Muse, just outside the key. And a nice hook shot doesn't go off the back end of the backboard, front end of the rim. And a board pulled down for the Broncos. Muse again underneath the basket, battling with Mahan, who just checked into the game. Correction, that's Katie Springs, a junior out of San Jose, California. And we'll have an inbounds pass underneath the basket. Muse underneath. Finds Naro for 3, and that's off left. And a rebound again for UC San Diego. It's Luther. Pass it along up to Montgomery. And to the top of the key now, back to Springs. Worked inside, and Pinto gets the hard-fought points for UC San Diego, all tied at 10.
Good job by the Tritons there, attacking the cup. Tight space for that pass, dropping a dime there for the finish.
And now the Tritons 1 for their last 7 from the field. Broncos on a little bit of a scoring drought, but they'll go to the free throw line here as Maya Hansen was fouled by Luther. It's her first personal foul, and it's the team's second of the quarter. We'll see some substitution changes now as Danny Bays comes in for Boise State. And the first shot for Hansen's good.
Right Bronco to get to the line, 75% coming in, as Braden mentioned earlier. This is a team that only shoots 65% on the year. That's 285 out of 348 in the country, but they do have a couple good individual shooters. They'll bump up their averages there, starting off 4 for 4 from the stripe.
Back out to Luther. And kicked around to Montgomery. Montgomery with the right hand, drives right side, rejected by Muse. And Abby Muse, who was the Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year a year ago, showing her defensive prowess with the block right there.
Already with 3 blocks, averaging 3.6 per game, taking care of business underneath for the preseason All-Mountain West pick.
Abby Muse in her time here at Boise State. She is a senior, has appeared in every game that Boise State has played while she was in college. And the layup no good by Luther, and a rebound for Trista Hull, who just came into the game momentarily, or moments ago. Hull flipped it over to Muse. Muse with the layup won't go, and a rebound by Katie Springs. A senior out of Brentwood, California, Abby Muse has appeared in every game as a Bronco, has started every game since she was a sophomore, and has been acquiring a lot of accolades as her time as a Bronco. And she was a 4-star recruit coming out of Heritage High School. 7 seconds to shoot now for UC San Diego, down to 4. And a tough opportunity for Montgomery. It gets rejected and then hauled in for Boise State. Here's Hansen, the point guard, bringing it across. Over to the far side, Abby Muse. There's Pasco cutting to the basket. Finds Hull. Near side, Hansen back out to Hull. Hull in the key, gets it stripped. And Parker Montgomery with a steal. 1-on-1, offensive foul. Parker Montgomery went into the lane and kind of picked up her feet. Good charge call there for Boise State. And a 12-10 lead will remain to Boise State after the offensive foul by Parker Montgomery.
Now Maya Hansen doing a good job getting into position there, staying outside the restricted area. Try and take away a fast break opportunity. And Boise State right now 0 of 3 from beyond the arc. They're one of the better three-point shooting teams in the country, 19th at 38% coming in. And right now trying to get it going from 3.
And a foul called away from the ball. It's going to be on Katie Springs.
With that big size advantage for Boise State, they don't necessarily need to rely on the 3 ball in this one. They've done a good job trying to get downhill and get some higher 2 percentage looks in their last few possessions.
And Boise State looking for the first points in the last 4 minutes and 25 seconds from the field. And now another turnover for Boise State. Keeping the Tritons in it. Sigapong slows it down, finds Montgomery at the top of the key. Now back to Forsyth just outside the arc. Montgomery again, near side wing, Springs top of the key. Down inside, Forsyth puts up the layup. And Izzy Forsyth's on the board with her first points tonight. We're all tied at 12, under a minute to go.
Now man-to-man defense there, so if you want to get some of those shot blockers out, keep the player that they're guarding on the perimeter. That's what they did that time against the 6'2 Trista Hull. Set up a good look underneath.
A foul called on the floor already. UC San Diego's 5th foul. That'll only be significant for the next 31.8 seconds. But again, it's Boise State's best free throw shooter going to the free throw line. She's already a perfect 4 for 4 tonight. And I mentioned before, 84% in her career. Almost automatic makes the first.
And when you get into a rhythm early, it just snowballs in a good way for you. Already 5 free throw makes on 5 attempts in this opening quarter. Good start for the Billings, Montana native.
And a perfect 6 for 6 for Hansen. As both teams have shot under 30% here in the first quarter. UC San Diego has a little bit of a 1 second difference between the shot clock and the game clock, although they will probably play for the final shot of the first quarter. Blithcoat runs out of time, finds an outlet, 2 seconds to shoot. Forsyth's got to put something up, try to get it to Sigapong. And Sigapong is unable to do so. It's a shot clock violation, and Boise State will have the possession with 1.2 seconds left in the first quarter. Missed opportunity there for the Tritons to potentially tie it or even have the lead going into the second quarter. And Boise State elects to dribble it out, and that's 1 quarter in the books. Don't go away. Boise State and UC San Diego, 14-12 lead for the Broncos on ESPN+. Start of the second quarter alongside David Gentili. I'm Braden Soprano. Thanks again for tuning in to ESPN+. As the Boise State Broncos have a 14-12 lead over the UC San Diego Tritons as we play the San Diego Classic here at the University of San Diego. And Sigapong gets the second quarter started as she finished the first quarter. She's now got 7 points after that big 2 shot. And a rattle in 3. Tatum Thompson on the board for the first time tonight. And it's been one of those games early on, anything you could do, I could do better, and a 17-14 lead for the Broncos.
Both teams shooting 29% in the first quarter, so a lot of momentum specifically on the offensive end up for grabs. Good to see both teams get a make, and now 3 for 3 to start off the quarter.
Springs finds the open spot on the right side block and puts it in. That was 17-16 lead for Boise State. 3-point basket won't go. Rebound attempt by Trista Hull, and she gets knocked out by a couple of Tritons, and it's going to be a foul called against UC San Diego. Fouls on Montgomery, her second personal, first team foul of the quarter. Boise State put themselves into the bonus at the end of the first quarter. There's only 30 seconds left, but as of right now, a team that doesn't shoot a lot of free throws or doesn't do well shooting free throws has had their best free throw shooter on the line. An offensive foul called against Tatum Thompson. It's going to be her first personal, And first team foul. And that's the type of play you need if you're UC San Diego trying to pull the upset today. Trying to keep it close. They have held Boise State to shooting 31% from the field so far early on, and both teams not really doing that well beyond the arc either. Blithcoat picks up her dribble, finds Sigapong. Works it back to the left. Newly entered Condren finds it back to Sigapong. Foot on the line for a 2. And it's a 2-point basket when it was close to a 3. But good enough for an 18-17 lead. Sigapong's got 9. Answer 3, no good. And a rebound by Sigapong. And Sigapong gets stripped from behind, and it will be a foul called against Tatum Thompson. Thompson, just entering the game to start the second quarter, has already found herself with 2 fouls early on. One on the offensive side and one on the defensive side. And then now Thompson will take a rest. And incoming will be Elodie Lalit.
A tough shot on that last possession for Sigapong. So good at creating her own look. If your late shot clock need a little instant offense, you can rely on the fantastic freshman for that.
Lalit knocks it away. Picked back up. Pinto inside the key. Tried to flip it to Forsyth, and that gets knocked away. A turnover for the Tritons. Boise State pushing it along just outside the paint now is Loverich. And Loverich finds Danny Bays. Bays swings it near side wing, down inside, left side block, back out to Loverich for 3. That's no good. And Sigapong with a hustle play, got it for a second and tripped. Boise State's there as they kick it back out to Loverich for the 15-footer. That's no good, and Sigapong pulls down the board. So another great defensive performance by the Tritons on that last possession. Tough shot there by Sigapong, and it'll be Boise State basketball. 18-17 lead for UC San Diego. Danny Bays with one dribble, dishes it over to Hull. Hull finds Lalit. Back to Loverich, and a pick of the pocket of Hull is Blithcoat, who gets it back to her point guard in Sigapong, and UCSD back into their offense. Pinto over to Condren. And 10 seconds to shoot now for the Tritons. Sigapong, left-hand layup. Nice touch off the glass and in. And the Tritons have a 3-point lead. Sigapong's got 11 points.
As Sigapong hitting from the mid-range, that time gets the tough layup to go. Spread out the length of Boise State, keeping 4 on the perimeter and turn it into a game of 2. They get the roll, they get the finish. Another good shot there for Sigapong.
Turnover for Boise State. They had a cutting Loverich and just shot it past Lindsay. And another turnover for Boise State as UC San Diego's on a 6-0 run. And Boise State, man, kind of a scoring drought. Haven't scored for the last 3 minutes and 21 seconds. Let's take another look at the Sigapong soft touch. As David was mentioning, one of the top signees for UC San Diego coming in to this season and being able to recruit from your own backyard in La Jolla Country Day, not too far from UC San Diego, just down the road. And one of the best basketball programs in girls basketball in San Diego. And a tough look there for Blithcoat. Tried to drive baseline, went off the back end, or sorry, sides of the basket. And Naro is shaken up after the move by Sigapong.
Stepped on a foot of one of the Tritons during that last possession. Went down to ground, got up. Good to see her still able to walk it off, but they'll take a look and get that right foot, right ankle checked out here for Boise State.
Loverich around the horn to Pasco, and an offensive foul on Boise State. It's going to be against Abby Muse. Third team foul of the quarter, as the Tritons still have a 3-point lead here with 5:33 to go in the half.
More than 4 minutes now without a basket for Boise State. 0 for their last 4, and they've turned it over 4 times in that stretch as part of a 6-0 run for UC San Diego. So doing a good job with ball pressure.
Pinto for 3, no good. Good board there for Gallegos, who just checks in. Sigapong puts it up, and that's short of the mark, and it will go over the baseline for a turnover. With 5 minutes to go in the first half, a 2017 lead for the Tritons. Tough shot for Hansen, as she was cutting back towards the basket. And that one goes out of play, and we're going to take a quick break. 2017 lead for the Tritons over Boise State. And the San Diego Classic right here on ESPN+. 20-17 lead for the UC San Diego Tritons, as we got a battle of the Big West and the Mountain West in the home of the West Coast Conference at the University of San Diego. Alongside David Gentili, I'm Braden Soprano. Thanks again for tuning in to the broadcast today, as we are in Game 2 of the San Diego Classic here at the Jenny Craig Pavilion on the beautiful campus of the University of San Diego. 4 seconds to shoot for Boise State. Hansen puts up a shot, and it goes off the front end of the rim and rebounded by the Tritons of UC San Diego.
Broncos 1 for their last 13 from the floor, 0 for their last 6 after a 4 for 8 start. So tough defense from UC San Diego, and they've been able to jump in front here by 3.
Turnover there for the Tritons. The other thing to note, we're talking about these two teams, and Boise State obviously on paper probably the favorite to win the matchup. The thing that keeps underdogs in it, being able to take advantage of playing defense and turnovers. 8 turnovers for Boise State that have led to 8 points for the Tritons. Forsythe gets hit with the foul, her second personal, and second team foul for the Tritons, as Boise State will send, for the first time tonight, somebody other than Maya Hansen to the free throw line. It'll be Lindsay Lavrovich. And Lavrovich misses the first free throw. 69.2% free throw shooter on the year, 56% in her career at Boise State, and makes the second one. So Boise State back on the board. It's now 20-18 in favor of the Tritons, as neither team has been able to put up a bucket in their last 10 field goal attempts.
I like the Broncos continuing to get downhill there. If you're struggling offensively and you shoot the 3 well, both of these things are true for this Boise State team. Continuing to attack, try to get high percentage looks to get back into a rhythm.
We got a nice reach advantage down inside the paint in transition. And Lavrovich unable to get any points, and it's going to be UC San Diego basketball. Now Blithcote across the timeline finds Sigapong. Trying to work off a screen of Condren, and now finds it down to Blithcote, who goes corner and then drives baseline and then tried to put up a reverse layup, and it was just short. Boise State has the rebound. Another great defensive play inside by Condren. Boise State's got some size on UC San Diego, but they're playing some feisty defense.
Condren at 6'4", had the hands up and ready to go. That ball passed right into the hands. Want to see a bounce pass in that situation. Harder for the defender to get around on when you change the angle on him like that.
And Condren had a nice look there. He got overshot by the pass by Sigapong, and Sigapong slapped her chest twice in a notion that it was her fault. Takes responsibility, and now Boise State will have it down 2. in the lane, and coming up empty is Lalott, and a rebound again by Denali Pinto. Sigapong, Condren, just outside the elbow, finds Sigapong in the left side wing, cuts off the screen from Condren, down to the block, and just trying to do everything on her own is Sigapong. She gets put on the ground, and Boise State takes the ball. Layup attempt by Hansen doesn't go, but she is fouled. And Maya Hansen, who has established a house at the free throw line, will go home.
He's already tied a season high with 6 free throw attempts, so this is going to be a new season high. 17 minutes against BYU, no free throw attempts. 23 minutes against Rocky Mountain, no free throw attempts there, so she's finding something a little bit different from the last couple games, and it continues to be a good bread and butter for Bronco offense that is struggling in this first half. Now, both teams struggling, you have to say, on the offensive side.
Hansen a perfect 8 for 8 on the night. Season high in free throw attempts, as David said, and we still got 2 minutes to go before the first half. Under 2 to go in that first half. And all tied at 20. Condren back out to Pinto, and the three-pointed basket doesn't go. Jump ball, alternating possession goes towards the Broncos, but a good defensive hustle play for the Tritons. Boise State, no field goals in the last 7 minutes and 52 seconds. This dates back to last quarter. And as for the Tritons, they haven't scored in the last 5 minutes of play. A lot of free throws today, as both teams are a combined 10 for 11 from the free throw line. Most of that coming off of the fingertips of Maya Hansen. And a kick basketball will remain Boise State possession. 1:22 to go here in the first half. Hansen finds an inbound to Pasco. Catch and shoot. Three-pointers good. That's the first field goal made by either team in a very long time. 23-20 lead for the Broncos after the three-pointer from Natalie Pasco.
2 of 8 now for Boise State from downtown UC San Diego. 1 for 12, so breaking a stretch of a lot of missed threes.
And when you can't make it the 3 from beyond the arc, you could do the old school 3. As Condren gets the layup to go and draws contact, she'll be trying to complete the three-point play at the free throw line, and only the second attempt for UC San Diego tonight.
Good footwork there from Condren. Caught it relatively deep. Starts out going to the left. That opens up the space for her to spin back around to the right to get the three-point opportunity.
Free throw too strong, and Boise State will maintain the lead under a minute to go in the first half. Maya Hansen right side. Now we got a foul offensively called against Trista Hull. She could not believe it. The junior from Washington. And it will be Hull's 3rd turnover of the night. 5th team foul for Boise State of the quarter. Singapong down inside to Condren. Condren posted up. Condren at the right hand and picked up her pivot foot. Took too many steps and a turnover.
Felt good about that start left, spin right move that she executed well just a moment ago, but that time the extra hesitation can't put that additional foot down.
Naro across the court finds Trista Hull. And back to Mary Kay Naro, who exited the game earlier with a little bit of a hang-up on her ankle and an injury, but it's good to get her back out on the court. Down to 8 seconds to shoot. Into the corner, Pasco drives baseline, draws contact. 8.3 seconds left on the clock as Pasco is fouled. Got to be on Gracie Gallegos. Gallegos' first personal foul and the 14th foul of the quarter. No more shot clock here in the half. Inbound, Posco, offensive foul. And the Tritons have been taking some charges defensively. That's a big stop for UCSD, as they will have 6 seconds to try to get the lead back before halftime. Down 1. Sigapong off the inbound. Offensive foul back on a moving pick. Condren and set her feet and was blocking downfield. Gives the Montana offensive block a run for its money that they had. 3 seconds before halftime. Loose ball, and I'll do it. So a couple of offensive fouls end the first half, but we've had a pretty fun one and very low scoring. It's the Broncos 23, and it's the Tritons 22, alongside David Gentili. I'm Braden Suprenant. When we come back, we'll get you some halftime stats that talk about how this first half transpired. We'll also get you some highlights for both teams and lead you into second half action. Game 2 of the San Diego Classic right here on ESPN+. It's halftime here in America's finest city as we are in Game 2 of the San Diego Classic alongside David Gentili. I'm Braden Suprenant. Thanks again for tuning in to the San Diego Classic as we got women's college basketball. Halftime here with Boise State leading the Tritons 23-22. A very low-scoring game here in the first half, but a game that is relatively close when you look at the two teams on paper. David, what has UC San Diego been able to accomplish here in the first half in order to make what looks like a lopsided matchup very close after one half of play?
I think taking pretty good care of the basketball. It's a Boise State team that relies on interior defense. That's why they're so good defensively. Shot blocking, rebounding to clear it out. It's been a huge advantage for the Broncos on the board. But the Tritons taking care of the ball, and they're doing a pretty good job defending the Bronco guards off the drive. You know the size. A lot of the looks from inside for Boise State have come from those guards. They're hanging with them. They're taking some charges. So I think it's that work on the defensive end, not allowing Boise State to take advantage of that size advantage in the first half.
And then offensively for UC San Diego, it's a local product in her freshman year that is really putting on a show, coming out of the very touted La Jolla Country Day girls basketball program here in San Diego County. Talk to us a little bit about the freshman phenom that has really torn it up for UC San Diego.
As Sumaya Sigapong, game high 11 points when you only have 45 in the first half. That's a huge mark to be able to hit. Great at creating her own shot, especially late shot clock. Has some good off-balance looks from mid-range and doing a good job when they run the two-man or the two-woman game, I should say, in getting downhill, rolling off of screens, taking advantage of some of her bigger body teammates, setting her up for clean looks inside. She's a dynamic all-around scorer.
Now, as for Boise State, offensively, they've really struggled shooting from the field. Only 25%, which equals the 25% they have shot from three-point range in the first half. Their leading scorer right now is Maya Hansen. All 8 of her points coming from the free throw line.
Oh, they've done a good job of staying aggressive, even if they haven't been able to get into the offensive rhythm that they want to. Very good three-point shooting team in terms of percentages coming in. 38%, 21st in the NCAA. They did get a couple going in that second quarter. 2 for 5 from downtown in the second after going 0 for 3 in the first. So got a little bit more working, but still only managing 9 points in that second 10 minutes.
Yeah, and the other thing that's been very interesting is UC San Diego doesn't have the same height and reach as Boise State, winning the battle and the points in the paint 12-6. They're taking advantage of points off turnovers 8-2, and then everything else has been pretty much even as they continue to trade blows with this Boise State Broncos team.
And one of the best things UC San Diego can do against the second leading shot blocking team in the country, man-to-man defense, spread them out. Get the matchups you want, get those shot blockers on the perimeter. It opens up some space inside for those points in the paint.
Well, we talked about some of the first half stats. Let's see some of the first half highlights when we come back. We'll let you know about the Boise State Broncos and how they've had success early on in the first half. And then following up, we've got UC San Diego highlights as well. I'm Braden Suprenant. This is David Gentili. This is ESPN Plus at halftime. Halftime here at the Jenny Craig Pavilion. alongside David Gentili. I'm Braden Suprenant as the Tritons of UC San Diego are down 1 to the Boise State Broncos, 23-22. We'll take a look at some of the first half highlights of the Boise State Broncos. And the Broncos, despite only shooting 25% from the field and still lead this game by 1, they have done some good things offensively despite the lack of statistical offense there, David.
And I think that 25% from the field, it's a little deceptive because when you think about their first half, they're doing a good job not settling for threes. They're continuously getting downhill. They're missing a lot of contested shots inside of 5 feet, but they've been rewarded with 10 free throw attempts and made 9 of them. So 9 of their 23 points from the free throw line. I think if you're Boise State in the locker room, you're not sweating that field goal percentage too much because you're getting good looks. Stay after it. Try and play inside out in a low-scoring game. You know how disruptive that size can be for UC San Diego on the other side. If Boise State gets some offensive momentum, they can try and keep the lead with one of the better defenses and better shot-blocking units in the country.
Some of the better players for Boise State that they rely on, and Natalie Pasco and Abby Muse, haven't really been able to get going offensively, something that probably needs to happen in the second half. Natalie Pasco is 2 for 3 from the field, but only has 5 points tonight. She usually averages 12.5. And as for Abby Muse, she has had a lot of opportunities down inside, but has been disrupted by the UC San Diego defense. She's only shooting 1 for 7 inside the paint with only 2 points.
And typically a 52% shooter on the season for Muse. Again, a lot of looks from the guards. That can be a key for Boise State going into the second half. But also trying to get a few looks from those post players spotting up. They have a lot of a size advantage across the board against UC San Diego. I thought Erin Condren did a good job trying to match that at 6'4". She'll be one of the tallest players on the court when she's out there for the Tritons. Saw her get a couple good looks going offensively, but some big size on the other end. I think as you look into this second half, rebounding is going to continue to be a key. Boise State going +10, 24-14 in the first half. With that size advantage, I don't imagine that's going to change. So we'll see if UC San Diego, despite being minus on rebounds, can continue to weather that storm, hang around, and try and carve out their way into this thing.
Broncos lead the Tritons 23-22. When we come back, we'll talk about those Tritons, and we'll tip off for the second half right here on ESPN+. Boise State Broncos have a 23-22 lead over the UC San Diego Tritons. Alongside David Gentili, I'm Braden Suprenant. Thanks again for tuning in to ESPN+. Game 2 of the San Diego Classic is at halftime and ready to start the second half. We mentioned Boise State a little bit. David, let's talk about how UC San Diego could get things going and try to not only take the lead, but try to pull this upset up.
Well, you wouldn't say great efficiency for either side in the first half, but that's been the case for Sumaya Sigapong. 11 points, 5 of 10 floor. I think for UC San Diego, it starts with getting the ball in the hands of Sigapong, and then can you get some of your other leading scorers going? Izzy Forsyth, second on the team, 12.1 points per game. She's taken the second most shots for the Tritons this year. 53% shooter, only 1 for 3 so far in this one. So can you get a few more good looks out of Forsyth? And then Denali Pinto, a lot of threes, 1 for 6 from beyond the arc in the opening half. You look at the point breakdown, Sigapong with 11 points, Pinto with 5, and then it's 2 apiece for 3 other Tritons. So Sigapong has half the points. She should continue to get looks, but who steps up as a secondary and then third level scorer as well?
UC San Diego with the ball starts the second half. Again, 23-22 lead for Boise State. As Sigapong in the paint early, gets rejected and falls to the ground, and now here comes Naro in transition.
Oh, she double dribbled with that.
A double pickup and no call there. 3-point attempt no good by Hansett, and Boise State regains control. And we're going to have an inbounds pass here for Boise State on the near side. Foul's going to be on Forsyth. I think they were saying that she never regained control of the ball or something on the
They picked it up, never dribbled again, but it looked like either a double or a travel, one of those two.
So we'll see what happens here with 3 seconds to go. Hansen won't go. Gets her own rebound. No shot. Shot clock violation. Ball looked like it hit the rim.
Thought so too.
But I think that might be a reviewable play. So that's a bad sequence there for officiating crew. Yeah, they're going to take a look at it. Definitely hit the rim, at least from my recollection. So they're going to review whether or not it did, because they blew it dead. The shot clock did not reset, obviously, after it hit the rebound. Take another look here. At least they were showing it for a second. And it looked like it did touch rim to reset the shot clock. And that basket probably should have counted, so I would imagine that's what's going to be the take. But we're going to take a timeout while they're in timeout. 23-22 lead for Boise State. So after review, as we went to break, the shot prior to the shot clock becoming a violation did hit the rim with about 8 seconds left on the shot clock. And then the rebound and the putback was good before the whistle was blown because of the shot clock horn. So after further review, the officiating crew tonight determined that they're going to count the bucket and then switch over to UC San Diego possession as if nothing ever happened. So a 25-22 lead for the Broncos now with 8:48 to go in the third quarter. Sigapong for 3 for UCSD. No good, out of bounds, and a turnover for the Tritons.
Now, good to see the officials going to the monitor, getting that thing right. That's on fourth official on the side who's operating the shot clock. So glad to see Boise State got credited for that because, again, we both saw it clearly live and we saw it on the replay. Ball on the first look hit the rim, so they don't get penalized for that.
So it's 25-22 in favor of the Broncos. And Abby Muse throws it away. Very uncharacteristic game out of Abby Muse today. Haven't been able to get into a rhythm yet. Still plenty of time for that to happen. As the Broncos have a 3-point lead. UCSD hanging around. Blithcoat around the horn to Singapong and back over to Forsyth and now to the near side to Parker Montgomery. 10 seconds to shoot. Forsyth for 3, and that's short. Singapong trying to box out 2 Broncos, and she dives on the ball. A great hustle play. Won't get the reward of having the possession as it will go to Boise State on the alternating possessions, but a good play nonetheless.
That's part of what takes Sigapong's game to another level. It would be one thing if she was just an elite scorer. We've seen her take a charge. We've seen hustle plays. She gets after it on the glass. High effort, high motor, and the elite scoring to go along with it.
Pass gets knocked away, but last touch by UC San Diego. Yeah, Boise State will inbound it with 19 seconds on the shot clock. Naro, near side wing. Hansen down inside to Lalat. Back to Hansen with the float, and it's good. 27-22, Boise State has started off the third quarter on a 4-0 run. Here's Pinto. Good ball movement for the Tritons. Singapong gets it back out to Pinto in the near corner. Near side arc Singapong. And she gets fouled. Foul's going to be against Lalat. Elodie Lalat with the foul. Her first personal, and it's the first team foul in the third quarter.
Now this Triton team, they like to run fast offense, keep the ball moving. If you do that, you're going to get a lot of switches that time, and that time Lalat on Sigapong. Sigapong much quicker, even late shot clock, still able to draw the foul and extend the possession.
Down to 7 seconds to shoot. Montgomery puts it up. It draws backboard but no rim, and the rebound goes to Naro. Naro in transition finds an outlet to Moose, and then a short shot by Hansen on the three-point attempt gets UC San Diego the ball back. In the corner, uncontested three, no good on the attempt by Blithcoat. And we got a foul. Parker Montgomery already with 3 fouls now. And the team's first of the quarter. So with Montgomery having 3 fouls, Gallegos will check in for her. And it's 27-22. Abby Muse to Mary Kay Naro. Hansen drives baseline. Lalott in the lane, and the float goes. It's now 29-22 as the Broncos have shut out UC San Diego here in the third quarter. Early on. And Singapong loses it for a second over the baseline, but it will be last touched by Boise State, and UC San Diego will maintain the possession as Katie Springs now checks in for the Tritons. Singapong comes out. 6:05 to go in the third.
A well-deserved assist for Hansen on that last possession, getting in deep, drawing 2 defenders, and passing Lalott into some space for the easy finish and the 2. Boise State getting its offense going, continuing to play that signature defense. They're starting 3 of 5 on the offensive end. UC San Diego 0 for 5 so far to start this third quarter.
29-22 lead for Boise State. Off the inbound, Pinto thought about a 3, got smothered by Abby Muse in defense. Katie Springs at the elbow, back out to Pinto, and Pinto gets rejected. Springs knocks the pass away, tries to put up the layup herself, and it doesn't go. The great play by Springs, just couldn't finish, and now Boise State moves it along. Hansen left-handed layup, that's short. Springs pulls down the board. Here come the Tritons in transition. Slowing it down now is Blithcoat in between the circles. Forsyth, right side wing, top of the key now, back to Gallegos. Just outside the elbow is Pinto. On the right side, backs out behind the arc. 9 seconds to shoot on the shot clock. Springs goes left side, cutting the basket right is Forsyth, and she lays it in. That stops the scoring drought for the Tritons here in the third quarter, 29-24. Muse finds Hansen, right side elbow, picks up her dribble. Lalott cutting the basket, Muse, and through the 2 defenders of Gallegos and Pinto is able to put it down, 31-24. That's the Muse that we are used to seeing out of Boise State. Pinto, top of the key. Gallegos cuts back to the near side. Springs with a fake handoff to Blithcoat. Finds Gallegos in the corner for 3. Splash. 31-27. A big bucket there for Gallegos with 4:18 to go in the third.
Nice find over in the corner. You run that dribble handoff offense so frequently. Sometimes you can lull a defensive team, particularly off-ball defenders, to sleep. Excellent hit there for UC San Diego as they try and get it going from downtown.
Gallegos gets the board on the defensive end and finds it to Blithcoat off the screen from Springs. Blithcoat picks up her dribble just in front of the free three-point line. Gallegos right side, 9 seconds to shoot. Out to Pinto, tries to work at the Forsyth. It gets pinballed around, then it gets corralled by Muse. Hurrying now is Naro, tried to go coast to coast, goes to the corner for 3, and an answer 3 is good for the Broncos. 34-27, and head coach Heidi Vanderveer has to call a timeout with 3:33 to go in the third quarter. Broncos lead it by 7 on ESPN+. 3:33 to go in the third quarter, and the Boise State Broncos have outscored UC San Diego 11-5 here in the third quarter to take a 7-point lead. They lead at 34-27. Alongside David Gentili, I'm Braden Soprano. Thanks again for joining us for Game 2 of this 4-game slate at the Jenny Craig Pavilion at the University of San Diego as part of the San Diego Classic. Montana beat the Toreros of San Diego 72-52 in Game 1. And as I mentioned, the Broncos lead the Tritons here in Game 2. Another turnover for the Tritons, and the Boise State Broncos give it right back.
Now, Broncos started this game 5 of 23 from the floor. They are 6 of 10 since. Big reason why. Sharing the basketball pretty well. 4 assists on 5 made shots in this quarter. Pasco, Hansen, Lalott, Muse, and Narrow getting involved in the offense. So a lot of good balance, a lot of good sharing of the basketball. Building a lead, and again, that plays into their hands with how good they have been defensively this year.
Blithcoat around the horn in the corner, Gallegos, and it rattles off. Springs try to get a hard rebound, and it gets knocked away. And Boise State pulls down the defensive board. Morrow at the point. Swings it to the near side Bays. With a above head pass to Pasco, who now dribbles it over to the far side of the court. Back inside, left elbow is Hull. Out to Pasco. Pasco right side arc. Kicked around. Inside the paint. And with 3 seconds on the shot clock, it's Muse that loses it over the baseline. Sigapong comes back into the game for San Diego, as well as Condren. Inbounds pass to Muse, off her hands, 1 second, down to 0, and a shot clock violation against the Broncos. 2:05 left here in the third. Lindsay Lovrovich comes back in for Boise State. Aaron Condren, 18 feet away, flips it over to Gallegos. Gallegos right at the free throw line, and the jump shot won't go, just short. Condren picks up the loose ball and gets fouled trying to put up a layup. So Condren will go to the line and shoot. Aaron Condren came into today as a freshman from Australia, 7 for 10 from the free throw line. He's 0 for 1 tonight. And the Tritons could use some free throws here. Get back into this one, and the first one is no good. Condren's second free throw is also no good, but Gallegos pulls down the board. Condren out to Montgomery, and Sigapong will take over at the point with a fresh shot clock and a new possession for the Tritons. 90 seconds to go in the third quarter. Sigapong, floater, and that's good. Sigapong's got 13. Left all alone is Lovrovich, and she goes inside the paint and gets it knocked away. Gallegos, a careless pass, gets knocked out of bounds, but it will remain Triton basketball. Sigapong do have an outstanding game tonight, 13 points. And a bright future at the UCSD basketball program. Sigapong drawing contact, puts up a shot, and she will be shooting too.
Comes on, hits the shot, ends a stretch of more than 3 minutes without a bucket for UC San Diego. She had 11 points at the half. At her first 2 of this third quarter, Boise State started to get a little separation, but UC San Diego staying close. That one will cut it to a 4-point deficit. I think with the way it's been going for the Tritons, you got a lot of student athletes right now missing high percentage looks. I think you need to lean on Sigapong more down the stretch, try and get the lead back.
And she does a good job of pulling it within 3 after those 2 free throws. It's now 34-31, under a minute to go in the third. Lavrovich. Over to Hull. Hull at the elbow extended. Right side. There's Bays with 10 to shoot. Bays penetrates. And that comes up empty, not even drawing rim. And Sigapong will gladly accept the donation. Sigapong just outside the key. Out to Gallegos on the near side corner. 22 seconds left in the third quarter. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Montgomery between the circles. Goes right side, just outside the elbow. Picks up her dribble. Sigapong for three. Bang! And the foul. Sigapong ties it at 34, the three-point bucket in the corner, and she'll shoot a free throw to try to take the lead with 9.3 seconds left in the third.
32% three-point shooter on the season. That is her first make of the day for a team that's only shooting 29% as a group. Clutch bucket, and whatever happens here in the last 9.3, that was one of the biggest momentum buckets for UC San Diego of the day. Huge hit. See if she can give the Tritons the lead back.
And she does. Boise State jumped out to an 11-4 lead in the third quarter, and the Tritons have been on an 8-0 run since. They lead at 35-34. 3 seconds to shoot. Down to one, and a great defensive stop for the Tritons gives them momentum going into the fourth quarter. Tritons 35, Broncos 34. 1 quarter remaining here in Game 2, the San Diego Classic on ESPN+. And the UCSD Tritons have a 35-34 lead over the Boise State Broncos alongside David Gentili. I'm Braden Sobrenet. Thanks again for tuning in to the San Diego Classic on ESPN+. As the Broncos thought they were cruising to a potential victory over UC San Diego in the third quarter. They jumped out to an 11-4 run to start the third quarter, and UCSD answered with an 8-0 run, which has now continued to an 11-0 run as Gallegos hits the three, and the lead is now 4 for the Tritons. "18-footer for Muse, good. That snaps the scoring streak for the Broncos. As the Tritons have kept Muse at bay today, only 6 points on the night. And shot 3 for 10 from the field.
How about Gallegos coming in 1 for 10 from 3 this year, 2 for 3 in this game, and three-point makes have been hard to come by to this point.
Forsyth running out of time, 5 seconds, going against Muse, and gets rejected. Try to draw contact there. Muse, as I mentioned before, is the Defensive Player of the Year a year ago for the Mountain West Conference, and a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. Here comes Natalie Pasco, another one of those players of the Broncos that has averaged double figures in the points per game category, 12.5, but has held to 6 points tonight. UC San Diego has been able to make the most of opportunities defensively, even though they are about the same in terms of shooting throughout across the board. Big reason for that is Sigapong. Block extended, no good. Back out to Gallegos. Near side wing. Sigapong down inside to Congan. And Condren draws contact. And we'll go to the line with a 2-point lead. Foul's going to be on Muse, her third personal, and the first team foul of the quarter. Good news is Tritons get somebody at the free throw line. The bad news is Condren's still looking for her first free throw of the night and makes that one. Now 1 for 4. Gives the Tritons a 39-36 lead. Condren's second free throw, also good. So an 0 for 3 start at the charity strike. 2 for 2. Oh, coming up next. 4-point lead now for the Tritons. 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. There's Bays down inside the lot. Back out to Bays, just outside the elbow. 18-footer for Muse again, too strong. And the loose ball goes to Pasco's. And Pasco finds an outlet. It goes around the horn to Bays on the far side wing. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Cutting the basket now is Pasco at the left elbow. And then inside the lane is Muse. A couple of spins. Banks it in. And Muse starting to heat up here for the Broncos. He's got 8 points.
Good footwork there from Muse. She was decisive all the way with the spin and the finish, and fired up as well. Big bucket for momentum for Boise State.
2-point lead for the Tritons. 7:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Forsyth out to Montgomery for three, and that bangs in. 43-38. Montgomery finds the three-point line for the first time tonight. She's 1 for 3, her first 3 points of the game. Pasco draws contact, and she'll go to the free throw line. Foul's going to be on Gallegos, her second personal. And the first team foul of the quarter here with 7:02 to go in the fourth.
Tritons 1 for 16 from beyond the arc to start this game, but since they've turned that into a weapon and an equalizer, 3 straight. 4 of their last 5 threes have gone down, including a couple from Gallegos. So starting to hit those 3-pointers and sitting on a 5-point lead, their biggest of the night. See about the free throws here.
First free throw from Pasco is no good. Very uncharacteristic. In her career, and she is a sophomore, she's made 90% of free throw attempts and makes the second. Shot 80% so far this season coming into tonight. Pasco's got 6 points. 43-39, under 7 to go. Sigapong back to Condren. Condren off the glass and in. Erin Condren starting to heat up herself. 45-39. UCSD continues to put the pressure on Boise State. They've outscored them 10-5 here in the fourth, and Hayes is back on the board. Maya Hansen. Maya Hansen been quiet in the last couple of minutes, but she now has 14 points. Transition, Pasco gets blocked, and here comes UC San Diego. Back outside, top of the key. Ball gets tipped away as Pinto tried to put up a 3. And then a steal for UC San Diego. Both teams kind of going a little bit too quick, and they're going to slow it down now with Sigapong.
6 blocks now for Muse. One of the reasons why she's such a great shot blocker. Able to do it underneath close to the hoop, but also on the perimeter. She's blocked a couple 3-point attempts so far. So some really good defensive range, trying to disrupt the Tritons no matter where they're at on the floor.
Boise State with some good defense there on Condren, who could not get the layup to go. And the deficit for the Broncos is 4, 45-41. Right side, Pasco draws the foul. Pasco's been very quiet tonight, only 6 points. Hasn't had too many opportunities either. And she'll go to the free throw line.
And they haven't been a super high scoring team this season. Pasco, in fact, the only one that's averaging double figures at 12.5 points per game on the year. So try and see if they can pick it up. Now chasing this 4-point deficit with 5:13 to go, but just 5 shot attempts to this point for your leading scorer.
Yeah, the first one is no good. Pasco now 1 for 3 from the free throw line tonight. Will attempt her second. Yeah, that's good. 45-42. 5 minutes to play. Sigapong, right side. Top of the key now, Pinto, offensive foul. Foul's going to be on Katie Springs, off of the ball. Her second personal foul, third team foul. Lalott finds Muse, and Muse can't get it to go. couple of times now, Muse has come up empty underneath the basket. UC San Diego breathes a sigh of relief. Sigapong tried to get it down to Pinto, and it gets loose. And Boise State now with a 3-on-2, 3-on-3. Pasco, left side float, no good. And Gallegos pulls it down. Sigapong slows it down with 4:20 to go. A 3-point lead for the Tritons. Sigapong off the screen, the float, too strong. Hansen pulls down the board. She finds Pasco in transition, and Pasco hits it. It's now a 1-point game, 45-44, under 4 minutes to play. And UC San Diego's got to call a timeout after that sequence. 3 turnovers for the Tritons in the last 3 minutes of play, looking for their first bucket in a while. Leading by 1 on ESPN+. Getting down to the nitty-gritty here in Game 2 of the San Diego Classic. Alongside David Gentili, I'm Braden Soprenet. And the Tritons of UC San Diego have a 1-point lead on Boise State, 45-44 with 3:45 to go. Big reason of it is Sigapong. She has tied a career-high 19 points on the night, dating back to her 19-point performance against Northern Arizona on November 19th. Gallegos for 3. She is feeling it. Her third made 3-point attempt of the night. And the Tritons have a 48-44 lead.
Now all of those coming here in the second half. UC San Diego 5 for its last 7 from 3 now. And that has been the story of the second half and the story of this fourth quarter as the Tritons hanging around. Remember, down 7 late third, close it on an 8-0 run. Now they've got the shooting going to build its lead.
Inbound for Boise State off of the off-ball foul. Pasco has not been able to do a lot tonight as Katie Springs gets the ball back for UC San Diego. Sigapong back to the left, the left-handed dribble. 3-pointer for Pinto. Bang! And Pinto showing excitement on the 3-pointer as the Tritons have a 51-44 lead on a 6-0 run. It was only a matter of time before Pinto hit another one. That's her second 3-pointer made of the night. It attempted 9 today as well. And shooting 34% from the 3-point line on the season is Denali Pinto, the 6-foot graduate from Boulder, Colorado. Wide open, uncontested 3. And UC San Diego has their largest lead of the night at the most opportune time. 2:48 to go in the fourth. Boise State looking for an answer after the 3-point party out of the UC San Diego timeout, and that's one way to do it. Lalott with the 2 points in contact. She'll try to complete a 3-point play the old-fashioned way. 51-46. Lalott shooting 46% from the free throw line this season, 51% in her career. And makes it 51-47. A big answer there for the Broncos. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. You see San Diego trying to pull an upset. Sigapong, top of the key, Springs over to Gallegos. And worked around to Montgomery. Montgomery Back out to Gallegos. Thought about it. Takes a shorter shot, and that's off the mark. Follows it. Gets the rebound off the tip. Sigapong back outside of Montgomery on the far side. And now Montgomery dribbles it out. And you see San Diego playing the wise game of eating up some clock as they go under 2 minutes. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Montgomery down to Springs, wide open underneath the basket. 53-47 in favor of the Tritons.
Got the switch they wanted. Springs at 6 feet tall, the center on the 5'9" guard. Hansen goes with the seal. Plenty of space down underneath. Good high percentage look after knocking down all of those threes.
Maya Hansen misses the jump shot. It was picked up by UC San Diego, and then a foul assessed against Boise State, and will go against Elodie Lalat. That's Lalat's second foul, and it's the team's second as well, as Boise State's got to call a timeout. UC San Diego with about 94 seconds left in the game, lead at 53-47, as Boise State tries to climb their way out of this. At one point in the third quarter, they had outscored UC San Diego 11-4. And then UC San Diego went on an 11-0 run to give them the lead, which has escalated to their largest lead of the night at 7 points. And it will be the Tritons basketball underneath the hoop. Both teams have 2 timeouts left. Neither team has really anybody in foul trouble. Montgomery and Springs both have 3, and Muse has 3. But nothing really to worry about, as Boise State is in the bonus for the remainder of the game, at least in regulation. 1:15 to go. Sigapong, who has a career-high 19 points tonight, which ties her mark. Springs inside, layup good. 55-47, and a great play by Montgomery on a steal. 1 minute to go. And UC San Diego with the biggest play of the night coming from Parker Montgomery.
Last possession for the Tritons, more of the same. Move the ball, get defensive switches, you get posts against guards. That's how you fight back against that size advantage that Boise State has. They've been working that really well, particularly here in the second half. Make no mistake about it, the three-pointers got them back into this game and got them rolling, but they've settled it down. They haven't settled for threes since they started making them. They're continuing to work it inside, and that's how they've been able to build the lead that they got by hitting all those threes earlier.
Yeah, they've remained patient the entire time, too, instead of forcing other shots, even if they're not three-pointers. A lot of dribble outs, a lot of resetting and slowing things down to be able to have the lead and not give up a big lead. So we'll get to a free throw contest here in a second as Sigapong gets fouled again. A 19-point performance out of Sigapong. As they are now officially in the bonus. Narrow gets hit with the foul, her first personal. And both teams will shoot free throws from here on out. Sigapong, a 72% free throw shooter entering tonight, but she is 4 for 4 on the evening. 5 for 5. 56-47 lead for San Diego.
Now a new career high in her freshman season with 20 points. 10 or more points in now 8 straight games, 9 of 10 overall to start the season. These Tritons have a young star, and she's going to be fun to watch as the season moves on and gets into Big West play.
20-point performance, as David alluded to, a career high for Sigapong, as UCSD will call a timeout. 34.8 seconds left after the Boise State make. 56-49 in favor of the Tritons. Still advance the ball off the timeout in women's college basketball, so that's the strategy there, on top of try to make sure you're on the same page in every facet. But a 56-49 lead, UC San Diego, if they're able to hang on, would have a huge win as they are in their final year of being ineligible for the postseason in all sports, but just in their process of transitioning from into a D1 school, into the Big West, a lot of their sports teams have done a phenomenal job of competing in the Big West Conference and at the D1 level, and it won't be very long of being eligible for UC San Diego to start making some NCAA tournaments and some postseason play.
Yeah, 20-18 in the Big West over the last couple seasons under Heidi Vanderveer, so more than built to compete, as that's going to be a tie-up, and it's going to go the other way to Boise State. When you talk about teams moving from Division II to Division I, UC San Diego has as many resources as a lot of these big-time D1 teams. A lot of smaller schools moving up from D2, it might take a little more time. UC San Diego, they are well off. They're pretty loaded, and that's been a reason for their success. They've got the resources, the facilities, and the funding.
Muse can't get it to go. Springs with the board and finds Sigapong, who will shoot 2 free throws again. UC San Diego's baseball team won the Big West last season. They were unable to go to the NCAA tournament, obviously, because of the rules. The men's basketball team and knocked off some of the better Big West schools in men's basketball. You mentioned the women's basketball record. Even though you're only a couple of games above 500, doing that when you were previously recruiting at a D2 level is very difficult to do. And a bright future for UC San Diego athletics. First free throw is no good for Sigapong. And Sigapong's second free throw also not good. Boise State gets the rebound, 56-49, and Sigapong gets hit with the foul. So now Boise State will save some time and have an opportunity to shoot at the free throw line.
Well, the Tritons have shown they can do it in Big West play, and now introducing themselves a little more on the national stage. This has been a really good Boise State program under Gordy Press. Now 5 NCAAs in 6 seasons from 2015 through 2020. Team that finished a game above 500 last year. Veteran group returning all 5 starters. 5-point game with 19.6. Still a little bit to settle out after those last 2 free throws. But this would be a big-time signature Division I win for UC San Diego if they can see it through over a very good Boise State program.
Yeah, good program led by a good coach in Gordy Presnell, who has won 730 games coming into this season with 354 losses and over 334 wins at Boise State, as he's in his 19th season at Boise and his 37th season coaching in women's college basketball.
You know what else is big for the Broncos? Coaching is a profession where you're constantly trying to climb that ladder. It might be a 2 or 3 year stop if you have the right kind of success as an assistant, get a head coaching job, you move on from there. They've had as much continuity as any staff in the country. Heather Sower, 22nd season. Carrie Ann Ramirez, 14th season overall with the program. Both Bronco alums, so a lot of continuity, a lot of Boise State pride. It all adds up to what's been a very successful group, and they should be a force again in Mountain West play this year. Picked to finish 4th, and we expect to see as a fun conference with the likes of UNLV, who's been running the show for a couple seasons.
56-51 lead for UC San Diego coming out of the timeout. 19.6 seconds left in the game. UC San Diego's out of timeouts. Boise State still has 2. Inbounds pass gets leaked away by Pinto, but she's able to regain control in the corner and gets fouled. So Pinto will shoot at the free throw line. Been a long 1 minute left in the game.
That's what you like to see if you're Boise State.
That's right.
They're hanging around. I'd say about 10, 15 seconds of game clock ago, you might have said it's going to be UC San Diego seeing it through down the stretch, but Broncos have gotten quick, high percentage available looks on the offensive end and not wasting a lot of time on defense either.
First shot for Pinto is good. Leads now to 6. And it's now 7. Still a 2-possession game, or a 3-possession game now, with that second made free throw. And now Boise State's going to call a time on 17.8 seconds left. So after tonight, tomorrow we'll have more action. It's actually a triple header here on ESPN Plus, as you have USD taking on Boise State. You got UCSD taking on Montana. And the nightcap, the men's basketball for the University of San Diego playing the South Dakota Coyotes. It's coming off a tough loss to UC Irvine, where they gave up 121 points to the Anteaters on Saturday. They do play Cal State Bakersfield yesterday. They did yesterday as part of their Southern California trip. Quick inbound pass for Boise State. Into the corner, three for Pasco. Good. 58-54. It's a 4-point lead for the Tritons. Pinto gets the ball in and gets fouled, so Pinto will go back to the free throw line.
It's a veteran team in a late game situation. It's a really good job of Boise State hanging around. They were down 9 inside of a minute to go after the Sigapong free throw. Managed to claw their way back in. Going to need some help here from UC San Diego at the free throw line. But always good to get comfortable with these kind of situations. Chasing a game late, can you manage it well? And they've done it pretty well to this point.
Pinto makes the first free throw. 5-point lead. And makes the second. 60-54 with 10 seconds to go.
Now I think you got to go three-pointer.
Naro, the lot. Inside, gets the 2, 3.6 seconds left. It's a 4-point game. And Sigapong gets fouled with 2.5 seconds left.
That time it takes to get into the front court, you're getting that shot away with 5 or 6 seconds. If you hit the 3, steal, quick look, maybe gives you an opportunity, but if it's still a 2-possession game, I think that had to be a 3-pointer from the Broncos.
Yeah, you can tell by Gordy Presnell's reaction on that it was supposed to be something of that nature. And so Sigapong will have an opportunity to add to her career-high 20 points. And Sigapong's first free throw is good. Makes it a 5-point game. So Boise State, if the lead holds for the Tritons, will drop to 8-4 on the year. UC San Diego will improve to 4-6, and a big win for the Tritons as they're able to defeat the Boise State Broncos 62-56. It was the third quarter run that helped the Tritons out and get the victory over the Boise State Broncos. For all of us here at the Jenny Craig Pavilion as part of our ESPN Plus broadcast, for David Gentili, I'm Braden Sobrenet. Thanks again for tuning into the broadcast where the Tritons take down the Broncos 62-56. We'll be back with a triple header tomorrow from the Jenny Craig Pavilion in America's finest city.